This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast. We discuss news and politics. Now, we go live every morning here on YouTube and Twitch. So, YouTube, say hi to Twitch. Twitch, say hi to YouTube. Try to get along. Morning, Pam. To the Mrs. Taylor, she's watching. And then Debs. I think I saw you first. All right, formally the blackout starts today. Let's start there, shall we? Now, listen, if you're a friend of the show and you've been watching this for a while, you know, I know, we know, we've been on that boycott, protest, and strike. Okay? Now, formally, do business locally for about the next week. My advice is to start with the easiest thing that you could do, and that is start deleting some apps off your phone. Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, Threads. Specifically, fuck Facebook, fuck Mark Zuckerberg, fuck all of that. Nope. Let's talk about child exploitation and Facebook for just a moment and the fact that they have a 17 strike policy on CSAM on Facebook. What the fuck do you mean? Holy fucking shit. Okay. Pretty big story. Pretty big story. And I mean, if the IDF and Israel exists and Zionists exist, then anti Zionist, anti Israel, anti IDF is allowed to exist. Just as legitimate as the bad guy themselves. The punishment for justice movement offers $50,000 for murdering a targeted Israeli academic, $100,000 for the murder of specific targets, and other financial rewards for providing information on them or committing acts of intimidation. The group lists the alleged home addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, social media accounts, and even identification numbers of hundreds of academics from Ben Gurion University of the Negev, the Technion, the Weizmann Institute, Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv University, Harvard, Oxford, and the European Organization for Nuclear Research. Real life Nazi hunters. Can I turn up my volume? Probably mic was probably pointed down. That's on me. That's on me. Sorry. Yeah, Bob said 17 strikes seems legit. Yeah. The dangerous rise of Buddhist extremism Things I never thought I would see in the same sentence. All right. I moved the mic. Okay, I was gonna say I think the mic was like pointed at my neck, so I moved it up. It should be better now. I'm reading. In the summer of 2023, I arrived in Dharamshala, an Indian town celebrated as the home of the Dalai Lama, the Tibetan spiritual leader. The place hadn't changed much since my last visit 2 decades ago. The roads were still a patchwork of uneven asphalt and dirt, and Tibetan monks in maroon robes filled the streets despite the relentless hum of traffic. Dharamshala still had a rare stillness. The hills seemed to absorb the noise. Prayer flags flicker in the breeze, each also a reminder of its. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Violent fucking Buddhist extremism. It's like where the monks become John Wick, yeah? And I started thinking lately about the government banning social media for people under the age of 16 and what's to keep someone from just lying about their age in order to access just about any of these sites. And I just have to wonder how pointless that is and how pointless a use of government resources it is to do something that you can't possibly enforce. I hope I'm making sense here. It's not that I'm like opposed to keeping kids off the fucking social media, right? But I think it's kind of silly. Just kind of silly. So I like the line of questioning. Nobody being terribly racist. Um, Buddhist extremism, does that mean it entails saying peace, love, and sunshine all day long? They were all humongous, Mike. So it's like they eat high protein and fucking lift and do martial arts and shit, and they live in like a violent police state. Put some fucking. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what do you think they're doing? They're like fucking superheroes, bro. Because in Buddhist monks, they like eat and train and shit and pray and sleep. I mean, they really like have a full day. As I recall, under Buddhism, you can also be any other religion. Hmm. Religion, such a shame. We could have done so much cooler shit. Anyway, moving along. Uh, Pretty solid, that Macron. Alright, Macron rejects Trump's peace plan as is, backs assurance forces for Ukraine. And remember, NVIDIA is the straw that breaks the American economy's back. And I keep saying this, it's like I'm pissing in the wind. NVIDIA shares fell 3% because Meta is going to use Google's AI chips. This shit's so stupid. Meanwhile, Google's up 10% over 2 days. When you start losing valuation, you start dumping shit. What do you think's going to get dumped? here's the thing. Yeah, it's gonna fucking explode. Nvidia, here's the problem. Nvidia's the king, right? And there are fucking three companies on each side of Nvidia that are so fucking heavily invested in Nvidia that like a fifth of what that company is worth, and these are big companies, is tied to their investment in Nvidia. So do you understand? The big boys in the American stock market are over invested in Nvidia because Nvidia fucking wins, right? But the problem is that Nvidia is in an arms race and they're gonna lose. A lot of things that Nvidia is like over invested in, they're losing. They're going to divest from AI. They already sold, I think it's called Concourse. I'm probably wrong. It starts with a C, but it's like the backbone to all the AI software that they sell to all these other companies. Mhm. And on top of that, there is a massive blackout for the next, I think it's 8 days, right? I want to say this is an 8 day blackout, right? Let's make sure we count the number of days. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Technically, you could call it a week, whatever. But we've been on that tip. I think it starts with social media. I think you delete Meta Tools. I think you delete WhatsApp and Twitter, and you stop shopping on Amazon. And I think if you can start there, yeah, I think if you can start there, that it gives you, and download the Goods Unite Us app, GUU. Okay, GUU will just kind of guide you where to eat, where to shop, and guide you away from places like McDonald's and fucking Walmart. Okay, can we do this though? So, what? Russia's drones are violating the airspace of Moldova and Romania, and one of them fell straight onto a civilian roof. As if I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I have absolutely no problem working and sleeping and minding my goddamn business. Hey, George Takai is writing a book on wartime internment. On the Mass Blackout website, there are links where you can measure results. Former Reform in Wales leader Nathan Gill jailed for pro-Russian bribe. Sure looks to me like accountability's coming, and again, as I've said before, it's not a crime until you commit it. It's just conspiracy right up until you do it, right? And I honestly, Washington Post, I don't even know if we're even sharing this shit. Um, God damn, they wouldn't even let me look at it, bro. I fucking hate Washington Post. What the fuck? Trash ass rag. I remember, I'm gonna sound as boomer as shit. Are you ready for this shit? I remember when the newspaper was a quarter. Cost a cost $1.50 a week to have the newspaper delivered when I was a kid. Morning, Danielle. There's an investigation underway to a recently crashed Reaper drone. I mean, I was talking to my wife. We talk about, you have anything that you want, anything that you gotta have right now in the next 1 week, buy it. Like I was literally, she went to bed last night, and I ran in there and was like, "You was talking about buying this. It's like a heated, it's like a heated blanket with footies." It has like little foot pouches that are also fucking heated. So like imagine you're like laying under a weighted heated blanket, but you've got like a place to put your footies, right? And she was talking about buying it, and I was just like, just go ahead and buy it now, instead of like in the next week. I want to like participate, but it's non-participation is participation. It's such a fucking weird. Blackouts are so weird, right? Boycott, protest, and strike is so weird because it's like don't do anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, paper out. I played Paperboy. God, what a sad title coming out of the G20. Some wins for multilateralism at the G20 and big questions about its future. Oof, oof. I want to say the Indy Star's $1.50 now. So I think, hell yeah, Paperboy. I had Paperboy and Paperboy 2 on Nintendo and Game Boy. I'm interested in the blanket too. If she's gonna buy it, and I'm imagining it works and it's good. You know, just download the emulator. Hell yeah. U.S. holds secret meetings with Russians in Abu Dhabi on Ukraine. You know what I love? This regime ain't getting away with shit. Bob said, Stacy said feet. Oh, Crush. Where's Crush? For those of you that don't know, we used to stream every day live on TikTok, and we started getting banned. So we were looking for like another place to host the show because I think it's important to have a co-stream, right? Where if YouTube sucks, we can go to Twitch. If Twitch sucks, they can just come to YouTube, etc. But along the way, we found Clapper, which my wife is like, "Oh my God, it's basically porn," and I'm like, "Yeah." Other countries have weird sense of humor. Their shit is like way more. They're way more poor everywhere else in the world, so like their humor is like way more base. Like nudity's funny in some places. hmm Like here, a nip slip's horrifying. In other countries, it's like har har. Keep in mind, I have PTSD, so I just don't have the same reaction everybody else does to everything. I'm underwhelmed. Um, but yeah, we were streaming on Clapper, and bear in mind, it's not like Crush is visible. She was just in the chat and got asked if she would just straight up sell pictures of herself, and they were offering coin. I don't remember how much. So if anybody ever wonders why we frequently talk about feet, it's because one of our own got a fucking asked if they'd sell feet pics in the comment section of a fucking live podcast. Full stop. That happened. And also, we're allowed to be funny. Sometimes shit's funny. That's fucking hilarious, actually. If anybody should being asked for pictures, it's the person whose face is on the screen and not just some like person saying hi, love the show. What do you mean do I want to selfie pics? You know what I'm saying? So, everybody raise their glasses to Crush wherever you are. You missed out. I I didn't want to share it because the headline's so fucking weird. Ukraine agrees to peace proposal with only minor details to settle, but no word from Russia. Afghanistan says 9 children were killed in a Pakistani bomb attack in airstrikes. Sorry, airstrikes. And I keep, it's like we'll get 10, 15 minutes into a show before I realize, we should probably start the show by listening to War by Edwin Starr, just so that someone that we hear speak today says war's bad. Okay. Oh, that's strange. They're starving and displaced from their homes in Gaza. And lose their mind. Wow. Good God. What is going on? Keep in mind, Russia invaded Ukraine and haven't done shit. Gaza Humanitarian Foundation ends operations. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, supported by Israel and the U.S., no shit, and heavily criticized by the United Nations, announced on Monday it had completed its mission in Gaza, and that was just to keep people around long enough to die. Russian drones breach NATO airspace in long-range strikes. You would say this is being provocative on Russia's. The White House press secretary says the U.S. cannot supply weapons to Ukraine indefinitely. I just want to point out KK Caroline is a fucking moron. That's dumb as fuck. Indian textile exporters in survival mode after Trump tariffs. So if anybody wondered how Trump's tariffs are doing internationally, man, we're going to get invaded by like 17 different countries at once. And I'm not talking about immigration. Canada to announce uranium export deal with India in further sign of warming relations. Ooh boy. Remember how Russia can't pay their military? Russia's November oil and gas revenues down 35%, bro. That kind of shift in fucking gas revenue and sale of fuel, it'll cripple an economy. China hikes prices on dual-use goods exports to Russia. Trump is ready to talk with Maduro over Venezuela drug strikes. Remember, Donald Trump always chickens out, so there might be like 30 fucking ships and 15,000 troops in the fucking south, in the southern hemisphere, but I don't think anything's gonna happen. I think Donald Trump is a fucking coward that does not know how the military works because he is a fucking draft dodging pussy, and I don't give a fuck. He will be held accountable for all those people that he's killed. Keep in mind, a whole bunch of people have already died because of the cuts to USAID. A whole bunch of people have been killed in these wanton fucking strikes on fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela. South Korea aims to strengthen commercial ties with Iran. So one of our allies, I I don't like seeing. Yeah, this is I think I was news.az. I think that's Asgerbani. Elected officials meeting with business leaders. Jakarta overtakes Tokyo as the world's largest city. I didn't know. Did you know? Indonesia's capital, the world's largest urban center with a population of 42 million. I didn't know. Hey, Crush. It's like we summoned her. In case anybody wondered, there are no cities in the United States in the top 10 world largest cities. Jakarta, Indonesia, 42 mil. Dhaka, Bangladesh, 37 mil. Tokyo, Japan, 33 mil. New Delhi, India, 30 mil. Shanghai, China, 30 mil. Guangzhou, China, 28 mil. Cairo, Egypt, 26 million. Manila, Philippines, 25 million. Kolkata in India, 23 million. Seoul, South Korea, 22 million. Nine of the 10 most populous cities on the planet are in Asia. Cairo in Egypt is the only non Asian city. Shout out to us for not living in a massive urban center. A city so big it's no longer called a city, it's just an urban center. Yeah, she heard feet calling her. Goodness. I'm seeing if there's anything else. Russia bombards Kiev hours after Trump voices hope for Ukraine deal. I want Tomahawk missiles on the footsteps of the Kremlin. A flood took out part of the apartheid wall. Oh, good. Hey, if you're gonna move to Japan, make it happen because they're gonna extend a 5-year residency requirement for naturalization. For the record, we were just talking about a blanket that has foot warmers, is all, Crush. Japan to deploy missiles to Yonaguni. So they're moving missiles to support Taiwan. Oh, wow. Check this out. The former president of Argentina is going to have 120 properties confiscated. They got a 6-year jail sentence under house arrest. And I get it, it's almost 20 years later, right? Yeah, it's just like a heated blanket with heated footies. And I was telling my wife to buy it yesterday instead of today moving forward. That's it. Because of the blackout. I'm with Volodymyr Zelensky in that I do not believe Ukraine should be ceding any of its territory to Russia. What do you mean you can't tell what's real anymore? Tehran is having an energy crisis. So now, Jesus Christ, not only does Tehran have a water issue, they also are burning dirty fuel and have a smog issue. It's like they're trying to get people to fucking leave. No, I'm not having a problem figuring out what's true and what's not true because when I look at something, I'm not watching a video because that could just be AI. I'm going to make sure that I just focus on this for about 90 minutes a day. I'm going to look at the news. I'm going to make sure I validate that source, right? I'm going to see what's going on, and I'm going to have the memory of a goldfish, right? I know what's going on because I'm grounded in fucking reality and I'm not sitting on social media all day just consuming, constantly just fucking watching videos. I know how motherfuckers really are. Because I have to stop myself from doing it. If you would just focus on the stories, you can follow the storyline that we've been following as a show and the different things that are going on in the world. And then when we switch to American politics, you can follow those storylines. It keeps you grounded in reality. So I'm really here. You're really here. I wish you'd fucking stay here, right? Instead of letting your fucking mind wander. But everybody wants to go off and do their own shit. And they come back and they're like, Jared, I'm disillusioned as fuck. I can't figure out what's real and what ain't. Well, no fucking shit, dumbass. There's a reason we're here every day for 90 minutes. That's it. That's all I'm giving my attention to. There's so much else we gotta do. You gotta get 8 hours of sleep. You gotta work, right? You gotta work to live. Okay? Well, that means that you got 8 hours outside of working and sleeping that you gotta divvy up your fucking time. And as someone who has to pull themselves away from just watching the fucking internet all day, stay grounded. Stay grounded in reality and the truth, right? Which is what we try to do here at the show. You notice that none of you are saying, Jared, the story that you're sharing is hogwash. No, because we staying grounded in reality. It makes reality a whole lot easier to deal with when I'm not letting my goddamn eyes and mind wander and wondering, oh, is that AI? Is that AI? Don't you feel stupid now that you did that? I feel stupid when I watch a video and I'm like, that was a waste of my time. Like, I should be doing something different with myself. This is not a good use of my time. Trying to figure out if a video is AI or not a good use of your time. You should have just read the article. It took like way less time. It doesn't fuck your brain up. You're not losing sleep over it. It's not affecting your work performance. There's a reason we're here every day. It should be like therapy. You should not have struggles figuring out what's real and what's not. If you would just listen, right? Listen, Linda, listen. You need a foot blanket, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I don't absolutely don't think that you should be doom scrolling. I've sat and said stop using Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp Messenger, Twitter. Stop shopping on Amazon. So what does that leave you with? The video apps. Okay, stop using TikTok. Stop using YouTube. If it's clouding your ability to distinguish between reality and and not, I think it's time to put the video down and focus on reading. Yep. Because your brain will tell you when, like, a story is bullshit, but your brain will trick you constantly and tell you that this artificial intelligence video, this video made using AI, is real. The Palestinian minister calls on Israel to release $4 billion in tax revenue. Probably gonna die. Not targeting anyone. It's just when I see someone in the comments say, I'm struggling to distinguish between truth and reality, I'm reminded why I'm here, right? To talk about news and politics without an agenda. I'm not here to make money, or not here for likes or comments or shares, or me should probably share the show, but we're trying to stay very grounded, and I'm trying to provide the like groundwork for you to stay grounded. It's when we're not here that you're gonna get bored and you're gonna get on your phone and start fucking doom scrolling. And it again, I'm empathizing with you first and saying I understand. If you just fucking doom scroll, you're gonna get caught by a video made with AI, and then you're stuck. It's like shit. I can't. I could share it, point out that it's AI, but then like I'm furthering the problem, right? Oh yeah, the Dragonfire laser. Because I try not to let my mind wander. I try to know exactly what's going on in the world, and that way, when everybody else is all freaking the fuck out, you're just like, nah, we've been following this shit. Iran's Larijani urges direct conflict with Israel after IDF strike kills Hezbollah's uh, Tabatabai. Words. Morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Let's share the show. Oh, come on. Titillating. Tillating. Titillating Tuesday. Indiana, Kansas State tonight. Basketball. Justice's Waiting Room. A daily podcast discussing news and politics. Is live on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, there's a reason that we share the link to the article and like encourage you to just read the article. Because it should do is just stop you. It stops me from watching videos on the shit because I don't need to do that because I already read the article. And again, it keeps. Again, I have PTSD, which is keeping like the emotive state from like keeping my fucking insides from jumping out or whatever. Hashtag JWR. Twitch, YouTube, and remember, Free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. And again, that's the only reason I would even go on there. Oh my god, Twitter looks like shit. Wow, what a dump. What an absolute nightmare. Yeah, glad I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I can see how you could become disillusioned when you look at what else is going on. Here's a story from U.S. News. Kremlin says the European counterproposal for Ukraine peace does not work for Russia. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I want to make sure that I support Ukraine and telling Russia to get the fuck out of Ukraine. Go home. Then we can talk about peace. But until then, they're taking such horrific losses that only a Vladimir Putin could have done this. Fuck this up this bad. New Zealand says it's going to eradicate feral cats. What is. You know what? I'm tired of wondering. People use feral, wild or untamed. Hey, I'm just letting you know when you call your like spouse feral and shit, you're an idiot. Jesus Christ, people are fucking dumb. Clearly, Ukraine made significant changes to the US presented Russia produced peace plan. Why the fuck is US like we're good with it? What do we care what you think? Get the fuck out of here. Aw, here's stupid idiots that should just be fired. Tayyip Erdogan has warned of a falling birth rate in Turkey, calling it a catastrophe for the country's future. He stressed that the fertility rate has fallen. Called for more support for men from men for women. Take measures against LGBT movements and the promotion of gender neutrality, linking this to the decline in birth rates. That's not true. So look, another stupid old man. Hey, look, don't stop electing stupid old people that are living 50 plus years in the past. Remember that psychologically, you are trapped. Um, you're trapped at the age you were when you were traumatized. I know that many people don't like that. Um, Many people get traumatized, and you're all of those things. That's how multiple personality disorder starts. Okay. Let's switch over to American politics. Again, as I've said before, we could really talk all day about international politics. Hey, you know what makes people want to have children? Socialism. Universal health care, education, income, and housing. You see, Denver, Colorado, Debs, uh, 500 families got $500 every Friday for 2 years. Universal income. What's important about those 500 families that were given $500 every Friday is they also all worked if they were able. Okay? Over the course of 2 years, think about 500 fucking households. Over 41%, so that means 2 out of every 5 households, produced a child, a married couple, bought a house or got a degree. You want people to want to have fucking kids? You got to make it affordable to do that. Right now, I talk to people all the time that are still paying off their first kid's birth that they had to pay anywhere from like $10 to $30,000 for. Here's an article about Terry McCullough. DOJ staff rip Trump and Bondi's irreversible damage and tell all farewell notes. Unhappy staff are being asked to put loyalty to the president over the Constitution. Uh, the U.S. is reporting that Ukraine has agreed to Trump's peace plan, and I just want to make sure that we point out that that's not true. They rejected it. Trump enemy rips Pentagon Pete's almost comical court-martial threat. Donald Trump's enemy, Mark Kelly. I fucking love it that they're calling Mark Kelly Donald Trump's enemy. And New Mexico's doing the same thing. And as far as universal education, first it was Harvard, went tuition free. In fact, you can take a whole bunch of classes at Harvard online. And then there's also the University of Texas, UVA, University of Virginia. Who else? MIT. Who else am I forgetting? Have all gone tuition free. And so, if you think about the cost of education and the fact that now you could pretty much get a degree without having to leave your house, there's no reason not to. And one day, it'll be universal. One day, what the fuck would be the value of a degree that costs money when you could get one from Harvard that costs nothing? That's one of the reasons I dropped out of school, because I was like, why pay for something that I could just get for free? It has the same weight. You think when you have a degree on your wall, somebody's going to walk in and be like, did you pay for that or did you get it for free? What the fuck? Get out of my office, dickhole. Right? It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. He's retired. You can't. God, I hate people. It's not about results. It's about intimidation. You can't reactivate him to court martial him. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Zohran Mamdani reveals the weirdest thing he saw at the White House. You can't make someone reactivate after they retire after 25 years. Not to mention it was a long time ago. So again, it's not about results. It's about shock and awe, right? Wild. He said the weirdest thing he observed. Uh, I sit down waiting for the time of the meeting, and in front of me are all of these different coffee table books, which is crazy. That's like what old people do. And one of them is UFC at the White House. And for those of you that aren't UFC fans, UFC is mixed martial arts. It's ninjas versus warriors. It's ultimate fighting. They're gonna host an ultimate fight at the White House. So Mike Huckabee God love the fucking Huckabees, right? Is peddling sleep supplements while serving as ambassador to Israel. Isn't this fucking dumb? Hope they just lose everything. Yeah, I mean it's also not illegal to exercise your freedom of speech, and the government impeding on your use of your freedom of speech is a violation of the First Amendment. And Donald Trump's just walking all over that shit, huh? You shouldn't be allowed to criticize me. I am above reproach. The disapproval of Donald Trump is now higher than his first term. Who knew? Who knew? Obviously, when the President of the United States is threatening treason and sedition against his political opponents, clearly he's not fit to lead. And then everybody wonders why we don't get more affordable housing. Developers. Here's a story from Salon with that exact sentiment. Trump's threats against Dems shows he's unfit to lead. So that whole unfit to lead thing, 25th Amendment, remember that's the plan. Everybody is acting like it's some other shit, right? The plan is that it's got to be the drugs, okay? Judge spares Tequesta Council candidate from prison after her psychotic break. What has Donald Trump accomplished since he's been in office? We talk about pretty consistently about it's about shock and awe, not at all results. He loses absolutely everything involving a courtroom. He very rarely gets handed any actual wins at all. Um, and again, in order for it to be a crime, you have to commit it. And then there's going to be an investigation before any charges are filed. And then we all know they're not going to prosecute a sitting president. That's based on a memo. So the 25th Amendment will be used. You'll probably die. Sure. But everything that was going to be done to him while he's alive could just be done while he's dead. So I know it's easy to fall into the trap that, oh my God, we're oppressed. But what are they actually doing? Are they passing bill? I mean, they stopped the production of the penny. They they're trying to deport American citizens and failing. They said they were going to deport 14 million Americans. I don't even think they've made it to 140,000. So I get it. It's easy to be like, "Oh my God, they're kicking our ass," but like, what are they actually accomplishing? dick all. It's actually kind of fucking embarrassing. And a lot of people are saying Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation is the tip of the iceberg, and that there are enough Republican resignations coming that the Democrats will just have control of the House, and that's the end of Donald Trump. So again, it's just like the No Kings protest did nothing. It it absolutely motivated elected officials to stand up to him. I digress. I think it has had a wonderful impact on people's attempts at community building. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But again, I just say like, I mean, the AP is asking the court to restore its special access to Donald Trump's White House, right? Hmm. But yeah, I will say something to anyone poo-pooing protest, boycott, and strike, saying it doesn't accomplish anything. That's not even true. Not even remotely true. The protests, boycotts, and strikes have been really effective, far more effective than the president. Trump's Obamacare plan still not great. The Republican plan to more than double premiums is gone, but insurance will get worse. Poor people will pay more. I mean, people poo protest, boycott, and strike like CEOs aren't getting unalived and stepping down, and entire organizations aren't losing millions, and the stock market's in fucking shambles. Um, Talking most recently about the RAISE Act. Okay, the bill would require large AI companies to publish safety and risk protocols and disclose serious safety incidents. Yeah, I mean, think about it. If they're talking about a mental health crisis with ICE, right, where guys are offing themselves, are doing hard drugs in their spare time, chasing people around with a 12 pack in their car and shit. Congressman Greg Kasar introduces the new Stop AI Price Gouging and Wage Fixing Act. Democrat from Texas. Agree. So now Jared, saying what DT has done. Hmm. If it gets undone within like weeks, months, it's hardly an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? B-52 bombers flying near Venezuela could tell us about Trump's next move. God, I hate the pop-ups that are like buy this, buy this. Yeah, the Proud Boys are now ICE. Proud Boys and KKK are now ICE. But man, he completely ruined the reputation of Department of Homeland Security employees, up to and including ICE officers. Holy shit. I mean, when you see an ICE officer now, I mean, first of all, you're supposed to yell, "Holy shit, what the fuck is ICE doing here?" Um, but yeah, make sure, especially if you feel scared, make sure you keep your phone on hand and that you stay obscured if able, and that you take plenty of video evidence. Hmm? Wild. I was just reading that story about B-52 bombers in Venezuela. KKK living their dreams through ice. Yeah, but they're crashing and fucking burning. And keep in mind, I don't like giving platforms to people that were Trumpers and are turning away from him now. Uh, when he was winning and shit, he was all about him. Now that he ain't popular, Jesus Christ. Do you guys remember how Cash Patel gave these guns, these 3D printed guns? He gave them to New Zealand. They're fucking toy inspired revolvers. What the fuck? And by the way, one of the things that we'd said is stop making content aimed at MAGA. Somebody asked, "Are there also IDF soldiers in ICE?" That would explain a lot. Uh, it would almost explain their training. I mean, something to remember. I don't know if I said this for a while, in a while. Not only did my Marine buddies, when I was on active duty, had they trained with Israeli special forces and said like, God, they're fucked up, but we also were told like their level of violence is an export. Who do you think's teaching your police departments? Who's teaching your sheriff's departments? Who's teaching the militias? They're bringing in people from the fucking IDF. Why? Because they do not know an end to their level of violence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard that until you said it, so that one doesn't surprise me. Erica Kirk says Turning Point's support of JD Vance in 2028 is in the works. She also said that she's pregnant and that it's Charlie's. And I don't believe that. But who am I to tell a woman, you know what I'm saying? The Trump administration orders the US embassy to collect data on migrant crime in Australia. Huh? Yeah, I think the baby is JD Vance's. I think they had remember when she walked up to him and hugged him on that stage and I was like, "Oh, they are already fucked." People out here like, "Oh, they're fucking." And it's like, "No, no, 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 they already did that. That was a post-coital hug." Mhm. Where she like grabbed the back of his head and shit? That's after. Okay. There's a U.S. lawmaker, Maria Salazar from Florida. That picture makes her look like she's had a stroke, but then again, that's kind of how I picture most Republicans at this point. Wait, 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 wait. Somebody said so she's not pregnant. She hopes she was pregnant. What? I thought she was trying to pass off the. Yeah. I thought she was trying to pass off that she is pregnant and and it's Charlie's, and I was just saying like if she's pregnant, it's fucking JD Vance's. That's all. I don't know. I want to continue to point out the U.S. is saying Ukraine agreed to Trump's peace plan. Ukraine is saying like we did not. You don't think she is? She was only hoping. Okay, good. DOJ asks judge to authorize release of Epstein and Maxwell grand jury material. A bill mandating the release of the Epstein files was signed into law. So I've been thinking, rather than call him JD Vance, given that that's not his name, can we call him Love Seat Larry? Does that work? Get out of the politics window. Whistleblowers saying that Doge compromised the social security data of hundreds of millions of Americans. That's like all of us. Bombshell allegations claim big balls and others engaged in a systemic data security violations impacting millions of people. Dang. Grandma the Galapagos tortoise died at 141 years old at the San Diego Zoo. Angie said I saw something that Judge Chutkin said the files need to be released now. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Listen, I'm hearing through the fucking grapevine. By the way, here's a story from the AP about the Comey and Letitia James indictments were dismissed after prosecutor was illegally appointed. Yeah. I mean, yesterday was. It's hard to express how bad of a day Donald Trump had yesterday, and that it's only going to get worse for him. Yeah. It yesterday was absolutely devastating. Hmm. Oh, the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre dies at 111 years old. Her name was Viola Ford Fletcher. You see, that's a pretty old lady. When they say black don't crack, they are not fucking around. Mother Fletcher. She was 7 years old at the time when it happened. Woman deported from Maryland shown on video being dragged in Ghana. So, everybody that the U.S. is deporting, looks like they're having fun. Congratulations. If you voted for this is on you. Rabiatu Kuyeda, detained this summer at her annual ICE check-in. She moved to the D.C. area 30 years ago, fleeing civil war. Drugs sneaked into Ohio prisons, soaked into the pages of Hillbilly Elegy. I don't even know what drugs did they put. Spraying with narcotics and shipping. Oh yeah, yeah. Trump's lost millions and or no billions in the crypto market. Thai woman found alive in a coffin after being brought in for cremation. See, this is my fear. My fear is they put me in the oven to cremate me and I'm alive. Is that like can you all make sure I'm like dead before you turn me into ashes? Like before you do that, can one of y'all make sure you just stab me in the heart? Just get it the fuck over with. I'm just kidding. Binance founder accused of enabling Hamas-linked payments in a U.S. lawsuit. Oops. Oops. It's like I want to get cremated, but I don't want to be awake in the oven. Hey, are you ready for this horror shit? More than 25,000 cases of whooping cough recorded this year, higher than pre-pandemic levels per the CDC. It drenched me in barbecue sauce. Remember though, Zeke, the fire's so hot that it just turns you into ash. And it's pretty clear to me. It's pretty clear to me. Are you asking to be probed? No. Um, we need to bring back institutionalization. Um, I've been holding this in for a long time, and I'm apologizing if I come off as ageist. Okay, but I've had this. No, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. The only problem with your joke is that they're turning you into ash. What good is barbecue sauce? Um, no, I lost my fucking train of thought. Oh, you used to be able to have a motherfucker institutionalized. That's what's wrong in this country. The problem is you can clearly see is when people get really old, they become really racist and selfish, among other fucking things. And you used to be able to have crazy fucking people just put in a home. And now the girl that is the Slender Man stabber, who's clearly batshit crazy, cut off her ankle monitoring bracelet and fled. Now she's been recovered. Okay, she's been arrested. She should be put in a fucking home. See, this didn't used to be a problem. You know, when somebody like Donald Trump back in the day put his ass in a home, don't have to worry about him running for public office. Hmm. Yep, they took that away, and it was a desperate attempt by elderly rich people to hold on to their wealth long as possible, be as comfortable as long as possible, hmm and in power as long as possible. Hey, this volcano just erupted for the first time in 10,000 years. Haile Gooby in Ethiopia has been dormant for all of recorded history. Ain't climate change gonna be fun? It's like 2012, but every day. Somewhere. CNBC reporting Meta halted internal research suggesting social media harm, court filing says. People who stopped using Facebook became less depressed and anxious. See, stopping using all those social media websites will make your fucking life better. And I hope you saw this. Some men want everyone to have healthcare, education, income, and housing, and others and plan to take over a Haitian island and enslave women and children. You know what's fucking crazy? I think I'm out of shit. President of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, gives a rousing and defiant speech calling on his country to stand with its neighbors in the face of invasion by a clan of American pedophiles. Welcome to the Progressive International. U.S. interference threatens local electoral integrity in Honduras. Yeah, I agree. I walk my dogs. You know, I notice that I have a better relationship with my spouse. So you think this is problematic? Remember, we talked about the path home, right? The problem, keep in mind, Jewish people aren't a monolith. So what's true about one of them is not true about all. Um, but it is a fact that for since the 80s, man, Israel's had what is called a path home. And what it did is it protected young Jewish boys and white people who were willing to become Jewish who committed essay. And think about 30 plus years of sending people who committed rape and sexual assault to Israel to start their life over. Except instead of being like 18 years old, now they're 50 and running for public office, and they have families, and they probably live in the United States, but they're call themselves Israeli, right? And you remember how we talked about a social media firm did an audit of all your favorite right-leaning content creators and elected officials and found that they all buy their following. As much as 90% of Donald Trump and Elon Musk's followers are bots. They're fake. On top of that, so think about that, most of the heavy hitting, right leaning content creators aren't even based in the United States. One of the most influential right leaning content creators, Ian Miles Chong, is from fucking Malaysia. I mean, I've known that, but basically, Elon Musk is a fucking moron. He turned on location services, and literally every single right leaning content creator's shit got exposed that they ain't even from the United States. Go figure. So, as I've said, not only did he cheat in the fucking election, he ain't nearly as popular as he thinks he is. Yeah, I told you. There's a 90+% chance if you're talking to someone and they're pro Russia, that's a bot. That's a foreign bot. Meaning it's either someone who's not from here or it's a bot. Either way, it's someone who's not from here. Mm-hmm. Yep. So there's a reason that you don't see me making like anti-MAGA shit. It's because you don't exist. You aren't real. You're a figment of imagination, and you stole my family from me. My mom sent me a fucking Thanksgiving card. Okay, I rushed to my phone before I opened the card to see if something had happened. And my mom, my own mother, had not spoken to me in a month. So I messaged her. I got your card today, and I ran to my phone to see if you'd called or text. And I noticed that you hadn't. Judging by the girth of the card that you sent, you care. Understand, like, I'm not getting any enjoyment out of this. I certainly hope it's not fun for you either. And immediately she said that I owe an apology to my family and started playing the victim. And burp, and I don't play that shit. I ain't sorry, traitor. It's that fucking simple. I have PTSD. It fucks up my like facade. You get it? So I just come off fucking straight deadpan. I'm mortified. My family is fucking horrific. They're not backing down. They gonna fuck around and find out though. What payment? The payment put foods on my table, and if Americans are dumb enough to get tricked, then it was doomed from the get go. Oh yeah, yeah. I owe no one an apology. I didn't do anything wrong. One of the things that I know is that I have not spent an ounce of energy on them people, and if they want to, we can fucking do that shit, but you ain't gonna like it. So I ain't apologizing, but I'm also not saying your fucking name, saying your business's name, and I could fucking do that. I could really fucking do that. Make it real fun for everyone. But I'm not. So, like I said, I ain't apologizing for shit. Keep running my fucking name through the mud, and we can have some fucking fun on the other side. Hmm. I am far more powerful than they'll ever know, and I'm just smart enough to keep my fucking mouth shut. They begged me to work for them because their business is going to fall apart because of their decisions. Yeah, they're struggling because of their decisions. Not I. I'm fucking doing fantastic. I'm gonna have a great day. I hope you have a great day. Don't let anyone get to you, especially if they're fucking wrong. That's one of the things I've learned in my life is when you're right, beat that fucking drum. When you're correct, make sure motherfuckers know. You know, I told you, I studied data analytics. I studied data analytics long enough to see the flatlining of wages in the United States and the skyrocketing costs of housing and healthcare and said, we can't keep doing capitalism. It's going to put people out of house and home en masse. We also can't keep doing capitalism because they're destroying the fucking environment. It's forcing people's entire countries are being forced to fucking move. Tortuga. And it's all so a thousand or so billionaires can just be incredibly fucking wealthy while people fucking starve. Severe storms threaten tornadoes, look like in the southeast. We're waiting on the map to switch over. I'm going to read a comment. See how you can just be wrong. There's no such thing as equality. The only people that want that are the people that don't do anything. You should get paid for the hard work that you do, not because you do nothing. Then complain about people that works so have things. Racism, genderism, which is not a word, climate change, and Palestine are all scams to radicalize and control people. The US government was one giant fraud scheme to steal all the tax dollars. Trump is doing what should have done a long time ago. Trump is not a racist, you are just a scammer. I am dumber for reading this. Just make sure. Batshit. Genderism. What the fuck is that? You mean tendernism? Fuck you talking about, dipshit? This is the problem. The problem is that George Carlin was correct, sir and ma'am. Half of all people are stupid, the other half are even stupider. I'm trying to get to the weather, but it's y'all bots fucking me up. Let's look at the radar. Back out. Looks like they're. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Alright, so. Keep playing. There is a major rainstorm off the west coast of the United States threatening Washington State and Oregon. Salem North. There is a massive fucking rain system. Okay? Now, there's also there is a big ass rain system in the middle part of the United States from the fucking Gulf of Mexico all the way up. It's stretching all the way up to Michigan. Okay, there's a third storm in the north. So the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, bringing snow. The south, central, and west parts of the United States are clear, as is like Florida. So, gonna be severe storms. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky. Goddamn, Western North Carolina is getting their shit pushed in again. And those storms are going to go up into, yeah, I'm seeing, major Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, and again, that western tip of North Carolina getting absolutely fucking thunderfucked. So, that's your keep your head on a swivel, no surprises. Part of the reason that we kind of changed up what we do on the show is because of what happened in Hill Country, Texas, and then we watched Texas consistently like flood and shit ever since. So it's like, yeah, we should spend some time here and saying like you've been let down by some institutions, including weather, and we're gonna spend some time making sure that we let our audience know like keep your head on a swivel, no weather related deaths, not on my watch. That's some stupid shit. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody good? We're good here?